Hey guys, welcome to GOB Retail. My name is Callie, and joining me as always we have, well, not as always, but as of recently, Kyle.
Or Kylon.
Kylon, apparently. That's the new name that we're going with. Well, welcome you back. This week we're going to talk about a bunch of titles, actually. We're going to talk a little bit less about each one and talk about a great deal more of them. Starting with Dr. Aphra.
Yes.
One of the ongoing Star Wars series, and the nice thing about the Star Wars comic books right now is you really can't go wrong.
No, they don't have anything bad right now.
No.
They did a couple of misfires, but none of them were that bad, and now they're just firing on all cylinders. It's so good.
Rob and I used to make jokes on a weekly basis that Marvel wasn't doing anything right, and this is the glaring exception, is anything in the Star Wars universe. It's all good. Including, they've got a new Vader series that's coming up that picks up shortly after the events of Episode 3.
That's going to be great.
The Darth Maul series is running right now. It's really good.
It's good and it looks beautiful.
Yeah, so really anything in the Star Wars universe is great, but especially Dr. Aphra. I love this character. She's a lot of fun, so I would definitely recommend trying this one out.
Kieran Gillen, popular for X-Men and Wicked and the Divine, basically doing Indiana Jones in the Star Wars world, spin-off of his really popular Darth Vader series. Can't say enough good things about it. I love it, and I can't wait to read more of this.
It belongs in a Hollow museum. Bad jokes are bad. Next up, we got Batgirl and the Birds of Prey. I don't think we've ever talked about this one on the show before, but it is one that I wanted to mention right here. This book starts a new storyline where Black Canary is kind of sent into deep undercover to find this like fighting ring that's going on with a mysterious person who is teaching metahumans to use their powers at a ridiculous level. She goes in there and gets basically selected to be one of those super humans, and her ability to, basically yell very loud. She's got the supersonic voice. She gets a lot of really good training and becomes very, very proficient with it. And of course, there's going to be a big twist at the end of it, but they've just called in people like Nightwing to help out, so it's going to be a big team-up adventure in the end. It's really cool.
What does she do when she has laryngitis?
Well, same thing we all do, cry.
That's her power.
Yeah.
Just wondering. Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, she has to drink tea in this because her voice gets really worn out. I don't know.
Okay.
At least they're handling it.
Yeah. At least they're starting to answer that question after years.
Great. Sticking with DC for a moment, we have Wonder Woman number 20. Now, Wonder Woman is one we've never talked about on the show, and you might think that that's because it's not very good. And that is not the case. It's just because at the time, neither Rob nor myself read it. But Wonder Woman has been very strong. It's actually one of our most pulled titles right now. We have more people requesting this than almost anything. And it's because, again, the artwork in this one is stellar.
Yeah, it's pretty stuff.
It's fun to look at. This book in particular has kind of two separate story arcs going on, so it's a little hard to follow if you're just getting into it here, but you can pick it up at issue 16, and you'll have a good idea what's going on.
And Ruck is always a good writer. He tends to do pretty well, and he's writing Wonder Woman, all-time classic. So I'm really happy about this series.
Up next, one you wanted to talk about, we have Ragnarok from IDW.
Yes, this one is really exciting to me. I did not know this series existed. Somehow slipped under my radar, but it's written by Walt Simonson, who wrote the best run on Thor of all time. It's just all the fans love the Simonson run on Thor. Well, he's not doing it for Marvel, he's doing IDW, and it's called Ragnarok. So clearly he's kind of skirting around Marvel, doing his own take on the Norse gods.
So basically, IDW came to him and said, hey, you want to do more Thor without having the license to it? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I'm down with that. And
Yeah.
The art looks really nice and classic Simonson. For real comic geeks, John Workman is doing the lettering, and that's a guy who's been working in comics for a long time. It's a cool team. It's a cool team up, and it's a cool Thor story by one of the best Thor writers ever, just not Marvel Thor. Trademark.
If you hadn't told me that it was that he worked on Marvel's Thor, I'd have just I wouldn't have thought twice about this. But now that I know that, I look at the hammer and Thor, and you're like, all right.
Yeah, it's clearly very 80s and 70s Thor. I'm excited to read it. I'm glad that it exists.
Next up, Marvel getting love twice on the show. That's amazing. We've got Weapon X number 1. Just recently, the X-Men universe kind of has undergone a big transformation at the end of the Inhumans versus the X-Men event. We've had X-Men Gold and Blue launched. We have both those now, and now Weapon X is launched. Obviously we've got X-23 and we've got Old Man Logan, who are both in this book, which is kind of weird because Old Man Logan's got his own thing going on. That's a series that actually didn't end. But overall, again, it's one that it's nice to look at, and anytime Weapon X is involved, it's usually pretty fun.
You're not going to mention my comic book girlfriend, Domino?
Oh, is she your girlfriend? Or you two?
She's one of my comic book girlfriends.
Well, I just did see your girlfriend. She'd be a pretty good Domino cosplay, actually.
Don't tell her that.
No, she's gonna get mad at me.
Not into that.
All right, well, if you're watching, sorry. All right, up next we have an Image original. We have Rose. We know very little about this, and this first book really didn't explain a ton, but here's the thing about Image titles. They are either going to be worth $1 billion or
I'm going to read them and that's it.
yeah, pretty much. So here we got Rose #1. It is the first issue of it. It's kind of a fantasy epic.
Pretty much the best jumping on point for a book.
Yeah, girls, swords, and giant cat creatures. I mean,
the art looks great. It looks like it kind of harkens back to some of the good fantasy comics of the 70s and 80s art style, but it has a very nice modern color to it. So I just think it's a really pretty looking book, and I look forward to actually cracking it open and reading it all the way through.
Oh, and one that you absolutely fought for, so we're going to talk about it just briefly, is John Carter: The End.
Yeah, John Carter's a classic Edgar Rice Burroughs character. Dynamite's been having his license for the last 5 years or so, give or take, since the Disney movie kind of didn't pan out for them. But they've been doing pretty good work. Some of it's been kind of so-so, but this series in particular caught my eye because it seems to be the end of the John Carter mythos, if they are to be believed. We got Tars Tarkas teaming up with John again to try to save Barsoom once more. Classic sci-fi fantasy nerds will get a real kick out of this, but the art is to be looked at. It's a really nice, almost 3-color palette the artist is using throughout, and it just looks real sharp. I like it quite a bit.
Yes, we have red, less red, and more red.
Yeah, insides there's grays too.
Interesting.
But it's a neat mix. It looks a little bit like Image's series The Few that's running right now, that sketchy, loose style.
Yep,
I like
yep.
it. It just looks pretty, and I hope it's a really nice series. It looks really good from the start. Cool.
So last up, we have one that I looked at and said, this is dumb. And then you looked at it and said, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
So we have a trade paperback for American Barbarian. Go ahead, you can defend it.
It's by Tom Scioli. If I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, please let me know.
Tom, we know you're a big watcher of the show.
We know
so.
Tom is always.
Sorry about that, man.
But Tom's art in here, you're not going to see it from the camera, but this is straight out of Kirby in his prime. It looks absolutely perfect. There's the right amount of classic comics kitsch and fun.
I'm digging his United States of America hair.
Yeah, he has USA colored hair.
He sure does. And I thought my hair was ridiculous.
It's stars and stripes, and when he swings his sword, it also does stars and stripes. It's kind of like the classic Commandy meets the New Gods meets some other wonky stuff. And I just think if you're not into the fun of comics, this isn't going to be for you, and neither are comics, so you should probably just go home.
Probably should do something else, really, with your time.
Yeah, maybe read, like, the Brontes or something.
Yeah, I'm going to get into reading nonfiction.
Yeah.
I think that's where my interests might lie. Going to go back and read Jurassic Park for the 12th time.
Yeah. Well, there is The Lost World. It's the next.
Oh, good. Yeah, I know. I read that one, too. The book wasn't terrible.
The book was
The movie was bad. Anyway, that's not important. What is important?
This is great.
American Barbarian, apart from the Nazi mummy on the back, looks like it's pretty decent. I do, like you say, the colors of it is fun, and you're right. When I look at it, I'm like, this could be an Archie comic.
Yeah.
It's that classic comic look.
It's from a bygone era. There's some original turns on it, but it really does just look like an undiscovered artifact of 60s and 70s comic writing. I have a soft spot for that. I think a lot of us comic readers do, and it's a great homage to that era, and to Kirby in particular. It's just Kirby, maybe some Buscema. It just looks beautiful.
So that's going to be it for this week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We want to remind you this Saturday, I'm going to be doing a instructional event on how to play Formula D, which is a great racing game, board game. You can come in at 2 o'clock this Saturday right here at GOB, and I'll be teaching you guys how to play Formula D. So come check that out. Other than that, this is Kyle, I'm Callie, and we'll see you guys next week.